Got the saddest feeling nowadays that all my dreams are much too far away.
Welcome to WYCD Wicked. That stands for what you can do. What do you reckon? What do you reckon that I want to talk about today? It's a 2 for Tuesday. We're going to have 2 streams, plus at some point, have to make up for missing yesterday. This time, it was my fault, actually, entirely. I had unplugged the router, not quite plugged it back in. But what do you reckon that I want to talk about today? Oh boy, Trump's in trouble. Let's say hello to the Wicked community. Pinkerbell, hello. Sonia B. Where's Wicked Foxy Dragon? I saw you. Member for 3 months, Pinkerbell. Thank you so much. Look at that. I'm gonna have to spice up those memberships a little bit. Foxy just pointed out it's time. We hit the 6-month mark. Hello, Wicked Foxy Dragon. Speaking of. Anti-corporatist, I know you're out there. There he is. Good to see you. Perfect timing. Just talked to the lad and got him going and filling out the FAFSA and checking the website for his local community college. Also, let him know. I just had this conversation as well. Let him know. Scholarship, scholarship, scholarship. There's scholarships for left-handed people. There's scholarships for people that are under 6 feet tall. There's scholarships for people that are over 6 feet tall. Scholarships. Jess Rush, hello. Oh. Flipping Ms. Flipper. You are correct, ma'am. That is very much who I want to talk about. Wicked Foxy Dragon, I'm the oldest member here, only if we're going chronologically. If we're going off of liver health, I think I got you beat. Christy Z, hello. Oh, anti-corporatist, you're 10 steps ahead, as always. Fair enough. By the way, folks, following this stream, my understanding is that the anti-corporatist is going to be doing a stream as well. I will be there for that. I hope you will join me. We will put up a message in the community tab. But first. But first, I would like to talk with y'all about Miss Jenna Ellis. Count them, 3. Not 1 or 2, but 3. 3 of Trump's lawyers have flipped in the Georgia election case, the coup case. 3 of Trump's lawyers have flipped. 4 people have pled guilty overall on this. Today, our most recent addition was Jenna Ellis. You may remember her for getting in trouble with the Colorado bar for her lying. Her just streak of unethical behavior from tip to tail. She pled guilty because, of course, she is young enough that she could have spent real time in prison. The Kraken was in her 60s. Actually, she could have spent real time as well. You also have, who's that other fellow? Kenneth Chesborough. I always say the name wrong. He's in his 60s. He could have spent real time as well. Basically, everybody who the judge might have genuinely gone after has pled. They don't have a choice. It's a pretty obvious crime that happened publicly. And as we said in the beginning, once one person flips, it's just a matter of time for everybody who can flip. There's a real chance at this point that people who start flipping beyond now stop getting such sweet deals. It might be the kind of thing where now when you plead guilty, it's to get a couple of years off, not have the entirety of your punishment switched to probation. Maybe we're not quite there yet with years. Maybe not. But I think by the time it gets to Giuliani, we will be. Because the government simply doesn't need. They don't need this many people to flip in order to prove their case. They can prove it without that. Hence why the flipping's happening in the first place. Jenna Ellis also seemed to implicate Rudy Giuliani in her plea. So let's just be clear for a moment. These people have admitted to a crime. Now, 4 people have admitted to committing a crime with Donald Trump in Georgia. That means we can say the crime happened. It's not the alleged crime. It's the crime. It happened. Let's have a look at Jenna Ellis begging to be treated kindly by the court.
Thank you, Your Honor, for the opportunity to address the court.
Oh.
As an attorney who is also a Christian, I take my responsibilities as a...
It's important to note, I didn't realize she's a Christian, so she has morals then. She has morals. As an atheist, it's well known that I'm basically running around town raving and thieving from people at any given opportunity. So I didn't realize that she was a Christian. That of course means she must be treated with kid gloves. No, in all seriousness, it appears she has learned nothing. She doesn't understand. Even if she does understand, no, she doesn't. She just does not understand truly morality. She only understands that she got caught. She has the same reasoning right now as a kid standing in front of their grade school teacher after they pulled the fire alarm outside the classroom. She has no sense of the harm she's caused and why, as a society, we shouldn't allow that. And I say that right off the bat because she says, as a fancy person and a person of the religion you're supposed to like most, as 2 things that are supposed to give me different treatment than everybody else, never mind the behavior that I displayed. I want to remind the court I am 2 things that you're supposed to be nicer towards, and it's going to work as well. We as a society need to mature more than this. But okay, let's hear the entirety of this babbling.
Lawyer very seriously, and I endeavor to be a person of sound moral and ethical character in all of my dealings. In the wake of the 2020 presidential election, I believed that challenging the results on behalf of President Trump should be pursued in a just and legal way. I endeavored to represent my client to the best of my ability. I relied on others, including lawyers with many more years of experience than I, to provide me with true and reliable information, especially since my role involved speaking to the media and to legislators in various states. What I did not do, but should have done, Your Honor, was to make sure that the facts the other lawyers alleged to be true were in fact true. In the frenetic pace of attempting to raise challenges to the election in several states, including Georgia, I failed to do my due diligence. I believe in and I value election integrity. If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post.
I want you to understand. I'm going to move this slightly annoying hair floop. I'm sorry, folks, as I'm filming something else. I cannot cut this ridiculous hair. We just have to deal with it. I want you to focus in on something here. She's saying I was ignorant. I was ignorant of all the things that people were warning me about. Not mentioning the fact that she was warned, but we know she was warned. We know that the whole, no, that's not true. Let's say basically the whole of Biden voters and a goodly chunk of Republican voters, believe it or not, were telling her Trump has no case. There is no case. This is nonsense that you're doing. And she's saying all of her pleading, remember, she's begging the court to be nice to her. That's what a plea is. She's pleading. She's saying, I did do this thing. I did do this thing, but please, pretty please, go easy on me in exchange for not having to prove all this in court. And I'm doing this because I know you will be successful when you prove it in court, because I did, in fact, do the thing. She's saying, as she pleads for mercy, she's saying that she was duped, deceived. We're going to have some evidence to the contrary, maybe, after this. Let's just listen to her. And keep in mind, just keep in mind that she existed outside this moment. And ask yourself if you think she's being honest fully now.
Election challenges. I look back on this whole experience with deep remorse. For those failures of mine, Your Honor, I have taken responsibility already before the Colorado bar who censured me, and I now take responsibility before this court. And
let's pause her right there. She took responsibility already, she says. But bear in mind, Your Honor, I already took responsibility. Let's look at her taking responsibility. Let's see if she needs further punishment or if she has indeed already owned up to her past mistakes, her very recent past mistakes. Well, here is Newsweek, an article from March of this year. Jenna Ellis responds to her censure. This is what she said she took responsibility for in the Colorado bar. Remember, she said, I have taken responsibility. Not somebody else held me responsible, but I have accepted that I did wrong. That's why she's saying she shouldn't be punished, because nothing needs to change within her further. She's asking the judge, bear in mind, I'm already on the side of the angels. I'm already being ethical and good and right, and you don't have to worry about me. Let's see. Jenna Ellis responds to the Colorado censure. Former Donald Trump attorney Jenna Ellis is speaking out on March 9th after her censure by the Colorado State Bar Association for knowingly, as in she knew it was wrong information, misleading the public. She tried to convince you and me about her wrong information, about the result of the 2020 election being stolen. Putting that all together, she lied about the election. She participated in a coup. She tried to mislead the people of the United States. That's what she said she took responsibility for. Let's find her quote. Her inability to provide proof of those claims and a number of legal challenges in 2020 and a number of judges' subsequent rejections of her challenges was enough for the Colorado State Bar to determine Ellis was in violation of the rules, providing it is professional misconduct for a lawyer to engage in conduct involving dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or misrepresentation. That is what, in fact, she got so wrong that right now, today, it was decided that it was criminal. But she says, I've already taken responsibility for this. I've already taken responsibility, she said. Ellis, however, maintained in her first public comments following her censure that she didn't lie and that the media was falsely trying to discredit her by claiming she lied through the course of her team's efforts to overturn the election. That is false. I would never lie, she said in a tweet denouncing the headlines. Lying requires intentionally making a false statement. I never did that, nor did I stipulate to or admit that. And as has become sadly typical, the opposition-controlled media is intentionally twisting the truth, conflating the full RPC standard with the actual stipulation. Bar complaints have been filed all over the country. By people Trump lawyers have never met, had no client relationship with, and who are totally partisan against Trump, she added. This is and always was political lawfare to intimidate lawyers from representing Trump or Republican candidates, especially in election challenges, and to try to destroy our livelihood and reputation. Organizations filing complaints have been open about this motivation. No, they haven't. That's not what's happening. And the thing she was complaining about back then, being just made up, she just admitted to doing today. Today, she admitted she did all of it. We're going to go back to her admitting she did all of it. But her words today prove her words then were a lie. Because she just said she did it. All those things. All those things. Politically motivated. Is that what they say? Politically motivated, she said. Well, we just found out it wasn't. We just found out, nope. She just admitted she did exactly what people said she did. I never did that, nor did I stipulate. You just admitted you did. And during her admission, she referenced this moment. That moment right there. She referenced it and said that she already took responsibility. Folks, that is what she thinks taking responsibility looks like. Having got caught. That's her version of taking responsibility. Not acknowledging the harm you've caused and trying to undo what you can. Not taking steps to ensure you don't do it again. That's not taking responsibility. That would never occur to her. No, taking responsibility to her is having been caught. Go back. We're not even done. We're not even done. Let's go back to her trying to weasel out of actually taking responsibility.
I apologize to the people of Georgia. Thank you.
Oh, she's so sad. Yeah, you did it. I did it. Yeah, I really did do it. I lied to another judge.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis, for sharing that. All too often, I don't get to hear the perspective of the accused in these cases, and so that's appreciated.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything?
Judge Dummy McKnucklehead ought not to praise her like that. I mean, we literally are, all of us, all human beings, are all just idiots. Really, when you get down to it, we are just dumb as a sack of rocks. But judges are at least supposed to be aware of that. And they're supposed to be aware that they're no different. And they are supposed to be aware that not all crying blonde ladies are in genuine distress. And in fact, a goodly amount of the time in a courtroom, they're just lying. Let's hope this doesn't affect the weak sentencing she's going to get. It does.
Anything else, Mr. Hogue, that you would like to have as part of the record?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Ellis, I have a few questions that I have to go over with you. Do you understand the nature of this charge that as it's been reaccused against you?
I do.
And you heard the rights that you would waive by going forward with this plea. Do you still wish to waive those rights?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Me trying to twirl my hair. He just snapped to happy. It's like my sister once bit me when we were quite young, and then I turned around in surprise. I hadn't even realized I was in pain yet, and she started crying. And then my dad leaned in and said, "Hey, real quick, who wants toys?" And the tears went away, and I forgot that my bite area hurt. And we were both very excited. He said, "Never mind, there's no toys for lying little kids." Both of you. I hope my dad enters that courtroom and calls Jenna Ellis a lying little kid.
Are you pleading guilty today because you agree that there is a factual basis, as outlined by the state, to support this guilty plea?
I do.
Mr. Hogue, are you satisfied your client is competent and that this plea is understanding, voluntary, and that there is a sufficient factual basis to support it?
I am, Your Honor.
Ms. Ellis, do you have a weapons carry license of any kind in this state or any other?
I do not.
Well, I find that there's a sufficient factual basis for the charges, and I find that this plea of guilty is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered. Ms. Ellis, you've asked to be sentenced under the First Offender Act, which is a request that I will approve, and I'll withhold adjudication. But I do have to notify you that you can't withdraw your plea simply because you don't abide by the terms of the sentence. And the terms of the sentence would be as negotiated and agreed to by both parties. On the sole count of aiding and abetting false statements and writings, the sentence would be 5 years probation. You're to pay a $5,000 fine to the Georgia Secretary of State's office within 30 days of the entry of the final disposition in this case. You're to complete 100 hours of community service. You are to cooperate with the state and testify truthfully in any further legal proceedings in this case. And you're not to have any contact, either personally or through other agents, with the media or any co-defendant.
Oh, all right. That was what I wanted. She's been instructed. Can't run your mouth, you little liar. Saw ya after the bar. Cannot run your mouth. You're not to talk about this with the media. And before that, actually, the real meat of it, you're going to testify. You're going to testify against the others. That's also true of Chesborough. That's also true of Sidney Powell. I believe that's true of the first fella who flipped. Every time this happens, there is more people in the "my ass depends on me telling the truth" pile. And that puts more pressure on the people in the "my ass depends on nobody being able to tell the truth" pile. Oh, it's fantastic. Let's let him finish up her little talking to.
Or witnesses, I believe, in this case, as was outlined. We will include the language that is sent to us subsequently from Ms. Young, of course, with Mr. Hogue attached on that email to make sure that it is the exact language as agreed to by both parties. As requested by counsel as a first offender sentence, this would be automatically sealed upon entry, and there'll be a behavioral incentive date of 3 years as well. I've been provided a motion to null pros the counts on the underlying indictment in 23 SC 188947, and I'm signing that now. Is there anything else from the state that you believe we need to have on the record in this case?
Judge, and if I misspoke, I said it should be a $5,000 restitution because the max fine is.
Yada, yada, yada. The $5,000 is essentially nothing. For you and I who have lived law-abiding lives, $5,000 could be a life-changing amount of money. To her, it's a Netflix subscription. Like if you and I forgot to pay or forgot to cancel after a trial, our own trial, and we left it on for a couple of months. Financially, that's the kind of inconvenience $5,000 is to Jenna Ellis. That's nothing. And even though she's going to be every bit as furious as Kenneth Chesborough, that she will have to be helpful to the world for 100 hours, even though that will get under her skin in a way that you and I are going to be incapable of imagining. That's really not a punishment. In fact, she's getting basically no punishment. Here's what I recommend we do. Not a damn thing until Trump is in a cell with a sentence. Not a thing. Let them fully testify. And then we are going to be tracking these people. We talk about 2024 all the time. I'm going to go a little bit farther. (2025). We are going to track all of these people very closely. I'm going to ask for your help. I'm going to try to give us all some easily accessible tools and easily usable, hopefully, tools for tracking these people and their activities. We're going to track these people that got pardons and simply wait for them to violate their probation. They will. All of these people think the rules do not apply to them. None of these people have any sense of morality. They base right and wrong entirely off of whether or not they have been caught. We're going to wait for them to violate their probation, and when they do, we are going to write the judge, we're going to write the court, and we are going to insist that these people who are mocking us by not taking their probation seriously, after the already existing insult of them getting probation for a coup, we're going to insist that they go to prison and stay there until their sentence has been served. 5 years probation can turn into 5 years prison pretty quick. And these people deserve that. So we'll be on the lookout. Oh, I know. It was just her first offender law. You don't do real time until the second time you try to overthrow the United States government. Everybody knows that it's really the repeat coup d'etat attempters that wind up getting punishment. It's not those misguided kids, you know. Everybody's been there. You're 18, you're hanging out with your buddies. Let's try to overthrow democracy. Let's set up a totalitarian regime in the United States. Crazy weekend. Slap on the wrist. Get those lads a hobby. We're going to watch them. And they will screw up because they are not used to having the law applied to them. When they do, don't worry, we'll get them. And in the meantime, I got something else I want to talk to you about. Who's going to flip next? Who's going to try to flip last? I can't wait. Let's see what the Wicked community has to say first. Ooh, mercy. B-Cat and K. Oh, wait a minute. No. Looney Tunes got us started off. Alexa, play Send Trump to Jail on iTunes. B-Cat and K. Why anyone agrees to work for Trump knowing he refuses to pay anyone anything is beyond me. All these greedy a-holes ruin their lives, LMAO. Yeah, they are learning the difference between fame and infamy. There's a reason we have two words. You want fame, generally speaking. You don't want infamy. Fame is good if you're a lawyer. Infamy is not. Infamy is to be famously bad, famously despicable. Fame is just to be well known. They thought they would get fame because they don't understand the difference between fame and infamy. Every one of these people that works for Trump sees the other people that get screwed over by it, and they think, they're just doing it wrong. They're just not running this con the right way. I can run it. I can run this con. None of them pause and think, should I be running a con as a lawyer? I have known lawyers who sold their sports car because they were getting too many speeding tickets, and a lawyer simply cannot be seen to be taking the law lightly, no matter if it's a small law. That's how lawyers need to act. But lots of people can become lawyers. Really, all you have to do is pass the bar exam. It's hard. You're in competition with other people who have studied hard to pass it. A finite amount of people are allowed to pass, but at the end of the day, if you can pass it, you're a lawyer. That's a good and a bad thing. The other edge to this, sometimes you get Jenna Ellis. BCat and K. Christie, I'm impressed he's held out this long, to be honest. In response to Christie Z saying Giuliani next to Flip. Matter of fact, Christie, I think you're right. Well, sorry, I shouldn't have cursed just then. Wicked Fox Dragon, Christie Z, I think Rudy will be last. He wants Trump's approval too much. Here's what I'm thinking, Foxy, and I'm glad we're in disagreement. I'm worried now that you're the one who's disagreeing with me, because that doesn't bode well for Christie and I. But here's what I'm thinking. Wait, I got to record this. Hold on. I'm just going to pitch you guys the idea, and this will make sense in a second. I want to try something with you guys, but I don't understand sports well enough to make this happen right now. So you guys got to walk me through it a little bit. How does a fantasy draft work? How does fantasy football work? If we were going to translate this to court appearances, how many things would we need to establish as like point getters, you know? Here's what I'm thinking. We should do fantasy football, but with Trump cases. We should be like who's going to flip next? For example, I think Rudy's closer than y'all might imagine. But Foxy disagreeing ruins my confidence there. But hey, I got Christie here, so I'm confident enough to voice the opinion. Another person who's trounced me. I think Giuliani's got a good shot at it. And the reason why is because he's out of money. I don't think he wants the embarrassment of representing himself. Especially because he knows, I think, deep down, he's not able to. Both because he was never that great of a lawyer. I realize he was a skilled mob prosecutor, and he was a good, certainly, investigator. But he, like, in terms of pure practice of the law, one of those people that can play offense and defense. And beyond that, come on. The evidence against him. To represent him requires allowing people to laugh at you. Because you've got to make a ridiculous case. If you're going to try to defend Rudy Giuliani in this matter, you've got to make a ridiculous case. Rudy Giuliani is not comfortable intentionally being a ridiculous person. He is one. Oh my God, he's a natural. Borat movie, such filth. The Four Seasons total landscaping. The hair dye dribbling. He's a naturally ridiculous person, but he's not comfortable being an intentionally ridiculous person. And all he's got left is memories at this point. Doesn't even have actual money. He's just got the memory of money, and he's got the memory of power, and he's got the memory of when he was respected. He doesn't have any of those things, just their hollow outline in his deteriorating brain. And don't worry, that's not ageist. It's not deteriorating because of his age. It's deteriorating because of the amount of booze this man consumes. Easily half as much as I do. It's not healthy for him. Point is, who's next? Let's set up a fantasy draft. I think Giuliani might be closer than you think, simply because he can't afford to to hang on. I don't know if he's allowed at this point to speak with Donald Trump. If he is, what he's saying is, Trumpy, you got to let me borrow your attorneys. Otherwise, I got to flip. I got no choice, Trump. And if he's saying that to Trump, Trump, who cannot keep a secret, you will hear it from in 5 minutes. So let me know by the end of the stream if Trump is saying that Giuliani's going to flip or hinting in any way. Autumn Leaves, I'm new here. Does this show endorse Sam Cedar? Sam Cedar. Ugh. I mean, I like his politics and his humor. I like his co-hosts. I just can't. I mean, he's got. I can't get over his performance in Saddle Rash. I'm sorry. That's my answer. Poor voice acting performance as an armless cowboy. Anyway, fantasy draft. How do we do it? Let me know in the comments. Anti-corporatist. Oh, talking about Sonia B. Let me jump up. Sonia B saying, I don't think Willis will allow Rudy to flip. He's in deep shite for what he did to Miss Ruby and Shay. He's done for, in my opinion. I hope you're right. I think that is the correct way to go. That is certainly what I'm rooting for. I never cease having faith in the U.S. justice system. But yes, I'm really hoping that Trump, I would have hoped maybe Chesbrough. But yeah, I hope even Lindsey Graham, for that matter, I hope they don't get let go on this, because there's a difference between being a private, Chesbrough counts in this case. Okay, there's a difference between being a private representative and being a servant of the people. Fundamentally, for me, that's why I hope Giuliani. Giuliani wasn't a servant of the people, though. He was. I keep forgetting. He was just some guy. But he was once upon a time mayor of New York. And you can't claim to not know the responsibility you've taken on then. You cannot, it's like somebody, for these other people, for Ellis and Sidney Powell, it's like somebody, even Walton Nauta, it's like somebody playing a different sport and breaking the rules. You could believe that genuinely they don't understand the rules or don't even maybe appreciate the rules. But Giuliani is different, even though he was not a politician at the time. Every one of them should have known better. But anyone who has been a politician must at least, I mean, there's proof that they knew better. and that's fundamentally what makes him different from Ellis and the rest of the gang. Although it is worth noting that he also seems to have been more involved, more enthusiastic, more of a instigator rather than a follower. He does appear to be one of the true organizers of this betrayal. Also an angle to look at it from and consider it from. Either way, we're in agreement. Hello, Autumn Leaves. By the way, I don't think I actually... Jess Rush, hello. Mars Falcon, America's mayor. Number one, stop and frisk guy. Oh, yeah. Did absolutely nothing of value for anyone and was heralded as the second coming of Patton as a America icon. Jerry Springer world sucks. Agreed. But we have matured a lot, I think, as a country. Recently, too recently, to be proud of, maybe. Or to be as proud of as we could. But we have matured. Look at our response to Israel now. Look at Joe Biden, centrist Joe Biden. Don't rock the boat, Joe Biden. Going to people that have suffered a terrorist attack and saying, don't make the same mistake we did. He's right in that case. Regardless of how you feel about the rest of it, in that specific thing that he said, don't make the same mistake we did. Good. Don't do that. 20 years of war didn't help anybody. Got us no closer to justice for 9/11. We're maturing. And America's mayor was such simply because he was in office and he gave a good speech after 9/11 happened. That's it. That's literally all he did. He was despised in New York, except for his actions around 9/11. And that is because simply had too much of the population having no idea what was going on or how any of this worked. And that's changed. We've matured. We're getting better, slowly but steadily, because we have no choice. If we don't get better than we have been, we can't go on anymore. We're eating healthy because we had a heart attack. Not because we have a new lease on life. But nonetheless, we are eating healthy. Oh, good Lord. Pendulous Dragon, good people deserve good things. I can't afford it often. Brother man, hopefully we will we'll be able. Oh, I was just going to say we were going to help you, but look at this. With the very kind $5 super chat. Thank you, Pendulous Dragon. Laid up in the hospital with kidney stones. Oof. While watching my old pal Jake. The morphine helps. Yeah, I've been told that before. Guys, if you're watching the stream and you have access to morphine, it does help make it a better stream. I'm not saying go get morphine. I'm just saying if you're there, you do a little bump in morphine, and then you listen to politics, and it makes you feel better. Don't do that. That's a lie. I'm having fun with you, Pendulous Dragon. Genuinely sorry about the kidney stones. I have heard multiple descriptions, and it sounds like just the worst. Just the worst damn thing. I'm so sorry. But, unhelpfully, it's a long way from your heart. That doesn't help at all. I'm sorry, man. That just sucks. Hopefully we'll give you some chuckles, help you get through this. Oh, my dogs are goth. Albert from Little House on the Prairie taught me how addictive morphine can be. Yes, extraordinarily. I'm going to try not to mess with y'all too much and get you thinking about it. You, Pendulous Dragon, are just trying to get rid of some kidney stones. So let's not freak you out. No, you'll be all right, brother, and we're here for you. Speaking of, I would very much like to do some less amusing news. Truly, though, I before we move on entirely, as I'm setting up this next thing, yes, I do want to literally do whatchamacallit, like a fantasy draft for who's gonna plead guilty next. I wanted to do this. No joke. I wanted to do this last Saturday. And in addition to simply not being able to go up on Monday, I don't know how the fantasy draft works. So, but we would have had a winner today. We would have had somebody with bragging rights. So I will try to say, I'll put it on the website after this. Okay, let's take advantage of that existing thing. Let us talk about more Republican shenanigans. Believe it or not, there is still a House of Representatives in the United States. Let me just sarcastically drink some more coffee. Yeah, there's still a House of Representatives. We just haven't had a Speaker of the House for let me check how long. 184 years or whatever. No, the chaos continues. Republicans cannot choose a leader. Most recent attempt was some nobody named Tom Emmer. Why is he a nobody? Because he believes in, I guess, two sane things in a mountain of cruelty, which, of course, those two sane things make him verboten to the rest of the cruel bastards in the GOP, Republican Party.
Breaking news from Capitol Hill. Majority Whip Tom Emmer is now the Republican nominee for Speaker, having gotten a majority of the votes when it got down to a head-to-head. Back with us, NBC News senior Capitol Hill correspondent Garrett Hay. Garrett.
Breaking news. Again. New breaking news. Tom Emmer, no longer a realistic choice. Ha! It was that fast. By the time I learned about it, it was irrelevant. Exactly like it is right now. Who's Tom Emmer? What's all that? Who's a Hausa? Irrelevant, ladies and gentlemen. Irrelevant. Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News. Here are the Republicans who voted against Emmer. Rick Allen, who voted for John. I'm just going to read out the people of interest. Rick Allen, who voted for Johnson. Warren Davidson, who voted present. Note that. Diane Harshbarger, Johnson. Corey Mills, Donalds. Troy Nels, present. Greg Stube, present. Then Rick Allen, Jim Banks, Josh Brecheen, Mike Cloud, Andrew Clyde, Mike Collins, Eli Crane. Oh, not Eli Crane, excuse me. Bob Good, yada, yada, yada. MTG, everybody else voted for Jordan. In other words, Tom Emmer also will not be Speaker of the House. And this shenanigans, this ridiculous display will continue. Delightful. Let's see what the wicked community has to say. Oh, the anti-corporatist. Was he? I might have that out of context. Looney Tunes 9000. How many more nominees are they going to try and get? Jesus. Spelled differently. Elect somebody for Speaker. Yeah. Folks, at this point, and I'm going to talk, I think this might be the focus of the next show, but we should genuinely be trying to get Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House. If for no other reason, if merely to make the Republicans look incompetent. People do not want to vote for losers. People want to vote for winners. For that reason alone, we should be working to get Jeffries as Speaker of the House. We want as many centrist types, or rather, people that are hateful and cruel and small, but like to say that they're middle of the road. You know, the kind of people that vote to make your grandmother starve, get her kicked out of her home because she has no more Social Security. But they don't like people who openly wear swastikas. Those types. We want those types to view the Republican Party as an embarrassment, as an embarrassing waste of time. We want the sort of snooty, acceptable, polite society thing to say, well, I'm a traditional Democrat. We want them trying to distance themselves culturally from you and me. Well, distancing themselves in every possible way from the Republicans, because being Republican should just be something that's too embarrassing to admit. Shouldn't be taken seriously. There's no reason that the traitor party should be one of the choices people put forward. Great way to get there is for the Republicans to have a majority in the House and nonetheless wind up electing a Democratic speaker. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and it has to do with that particular relationship between the facts and how people. I don't know why I did that just now. I'm not ready to do the next segment. Folks, quick reminder, after this, we're going to head on over, all right with y'all, to whatever the anti-corporatist is up to. I want to thank Pendulous Dragon again for the kind $5 super chat, and Pinkerbell for being a member for, wait a minute, for 3 months. Thank you so much, Pink. Let me see if I can find that thing I was talking about. Nope, that's a recipe for cookies. All right, well, maybe it's simply doomed to not have a visual aid. That's okay. We'll raw dog this one. I notice. I was watching Owen Morgan. You remember that guy Telltale started off as a fella that was leaving I believe Jehovah's Witnesses. But now he talks politics as well. I was watching him talking about Mike Lindell, and he was going over Mike Lindell's big revelation. You know, his the movie he's getting sued for, where he said he had indisputable proof of election interference. Well, during that, now I feel like it gotta bring it. During that, Lindell, this Telltale Dell Art. Well, during that, Mike Lindell played a bunch of screens. Oh, here we go. He played a bunch of screens that really had nothing to do with what he was talking about. He put forth a challenge. To anybody that could look through his election data and prove that he that he didn't have indisputable proof. So sort of a what do you call it? Pratic? Prove I'm wrong about this accusation I made that is very vague. Nonetheless, he lost. He lost that. And I'll figure out how to say this. In fact, I'll quit the recording because I'm going to take another whack at this with visual aids next time. But here's what we're going to talk about afterwards. I mean, in the next stream, in more detail. He does not do this scam based on thinking people are dumb. This is the revelation I had. He runs this kind of scam, Mike Lindell, and all, for that matter, all the Republican scams that I've seen. They are run on the idea that you think you are dumb. That's how they work. Mike Lindell does think that the people who support him are dumb. He also thinks that everybody else is dumb. He thinks only himself and a few choice others, special people, are not dumb. But what's most important to him is that you think you're dumb. Whoever you are, if you think you're dumb and you think Mike Lindell knows more than you, then you're the target. When he presents evidence, he'll flash a screen in front of the audience and he'll say, "There it is. There's the we got the evidence right there, and it's, as you can see, it's flying behind me. Their IP address comes from a place in North China. Well, yeah, then you see you got the numbers there backing it all up. So there it is. We just proved the election was stolen. There's nothing behind me. But I could literally just put the code from the Matrix up there. You know, that screensaver? I could do that, and that's about the seriousness, which Lindell presents his indisputable evidence. And what he expects is that people who believe they are dumb will look at that and think, I don't understand this, but he's speaking confidently, and he is showing something. And so he must be telling me the truth. And I must be too dumb to understand the details. But I don't need to understand the details. I've got heroes like Mike Lindell understanding them for me. The problem is that anybody who disagrees with what Lindell puts out there like that, he'll get called a liar. Or she'll get called a liar by Lindell. And by all the people that will support him. That is the point at which we're going to have to break this. If we want these people to be seen as con men, the way to do it is to address those little niggling doubts people have when they first see that flash of information. Pause it and say, hey, gang, if he's saying this is indisputable proof, should it not be presented in such a way that you can understand it? What was the point of hiring a team, a camera crew, a presenter? If you're not the person who can present the information in an understandable way, why didn't you hire one, Mr. Billionaire? He does not want you to understand the information. He knows you cannot understand the information. And I happen to know that you will be unable to understand the information he presents because it cannot be understood. It is nonsensical. That was proved. Literally proven. It was nonsense gobbledygook information that he had acquired. Or rather, that he had presented. To the tune of $5 million. We will talk about that coming up. In the meantime, I'm going to check out the anti-corporatist stream. I have been dying to see this cat on camera. I want to see it. Y'all, I hope I see you there. We got another show tonight, 9 p.m. I hope to see you there as well. If not, no worries. Enjoy today because Jenna Ellis pled guilty. But I do. Another one bites the dust. Ba-da-do, do, do. And another one down, and another one down, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we're going to get Giuliani too. Another one bites the dust. This has been WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. My name's Jake. Gone.